Hi everyone, this is Abena. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel, Embrace Natural Beauty, where it is my goal to share with you simple tips and techniques that have been helpful to me in my own natural hair journey, which has been just over 4.5 years, that have helped me to maintain my hair, to keep it in good condition, and to retain length, which was always my goal. Because I want all of you who are watching to better maintain your hair, to keep it in good condition and retain length, if that's your goal, so that you enjoy your hair and embrace natural beauty of your own. So tonight I'm going to be talking to you about dealing with damaged hair. And I'm coming to you, if some of you recognize, I just finished doing the live broadcast on Periscope, and I was planning to upload the replay on YouTube. Unfortunately, the recording did not record to my iPhone, and so even though I had intended to make this video, I still wanted to give you guys the YouTube video. So all the information, or the gist of the bulk of the information that I shared, I will try to recapture that here in this video tonight. So we talked about damaged hair, and what I did is I started with a foundation for hair as it relates to the body, more specifically to the skin. And the skin happens to be the largest organ of the body, of the human body. And so I talked about how your hair, which I constantly mention, your hair is essentially made up of dead skin cells, your dead skin cells, that eventually are keratinized and turn into these hardened hair strands. And so that's how your hair and your skin are related. Now, hair and skin have similar properties, and they have properties that are in varying degrees of differences. And so in particular, like your skin, the human skin, which is the largest organ of the body, supports approximately 5 million hair follicles. Approximately 5 million hair follicles. And of those, on the scalp, you may find approximately 100,000 hair follicles. So that's a pretty insignificant number in relation to your entire skin. But as it relates to your hair and your head, that's going to be important to you. So know that you do have a correlation between your skin and your hair, and I hope this is going to help you to better understand how to manage damaged hair, or hair when it gets damaged. So I'm looking down at my notes just as I do when I'm doing the scope. And so your skin and your hair both have a growth cycle. Your skin, and I still have not had an opportunity to cross-reference this, so I'm going to share with you the site that I got this information from. According to AmericanSkin.org, your skin has a growth replication cycle of approximately 28 days, of which your hair goes through cell production, shedding of dead skin cells, and then replacement with new skin cells. So every 28 days, there is new skin at the surface of your body. In comparison, your hair has a growth cycle anywhere between 2 to 5 years. And so just as your skin cells have cycles or stages of that cycle that make up that 28 days, your hair has a growth cycle that includes 3 phases. It has the anagen phase, the catagen phase, and the telogen phase. The anagen phase is the one that is between 2 to 5 years. That's the stage or the phase when your hair is actually growing. So between 2 to 5 years, on approximate, in general, your hair is going to be growing at a predetermined, based on your genetics, rate or endpoint. And that's the anagen phase. The next phase, in about 87% of the hairs on your head are in anagen, meaning they're growing. The next potentially 12% of your hair is in the catagen phase, where it is transitioning from growing to no longer growing, and that lasts for approximately 2 weeks, which your hair stops growing in anagen, is now transitioning in catagen. And then about 1% of your hair is in the telogen phase, which is the resting phase. And it is at this stage, that lasts about 3 months for that hair strand, your hair will eventually shed. it will pop out from your scalp, and you'll see a little bulb. It'll pop out from your scalp in order to make room for the new growth that starts the anagen phase. And this is really important. And excuse me for just a moment. I was on the scope for over an hour, so my mouth is a little dry. So this is really important because there's a lot of information about how you can reduce shedding. And honestly, you don't want to reduce shedding because it's a part of the normal growth cycle. Shedding is going to precede the growing phase. So you're getting new hairs that come in. Your shedding should only consist of about 1% of your hair. So in relation to all the hair that's on your head, 1% is extremely insignificant and not even noticeable to the naked eye. So it's when you start to notice areas of thinning that your shedding may be excessive, in which case you do need to seek medical attention so that they can check your blood levels and see if you are at risk or have something going on, an illness, a disease, an imbalance with your hormones, or if you're taking medication that is interfering with your hair growth cycle. They can pinpoint that by doing medical analysis on your blood. So you want to definitely do that if you're noticing areas where you can actually see through, portions of the hair and you can see your scalp. That is excessive. But normal shedding is only 1%. It is typically reported to be about 80 to 100 hairs that are shed per day. And so if you're washing your hair on a weekly basis, just remember you have about 700 hairs that are being shed on wash days. If you're washing your hair once a week, you are shedding about 700 hairs. So what does 700 hairs look like? It may look significant, right? Or it may not look so significant, depending on, it's purely relative. But if you have high density hair, you have a lot of hair, you're going to shed more because of the density of your hair. And again, if it's noticeable, that's where the concern comes in. But normal shedding is not going to be noticeable in any particular region. Let's see. So that was the growth cycle. And I talked about shedding, which you don't want to try to reduce. The next thing is, in comparison to your skin, your skin is self-healing. So if you sustain a bruise or an injury where there's an opening or a cut, your immune system kicks into gear and starts to rush blood to that area for repair, for healing of those cells. And so over a period of time, your cells will be regenerated and your skin will heal. That is self-healing. You may use topical creams to help reduce inflammation. So you got histamines that are being sent to that portion of that region of your skin where there's the injury. And so sometimes people take medications to help bring about soothing for the achiness or reduce swelling, which you really don't. The swelling is caused by the blood that's being sent to that area for cell production to heal that injured area. So that's the normal healing process for skin, but your hair doesn't have any blood cells that are going to be coming to the rescue for damaged hair. So once this hair is damaged, the damage cannot be repaired the same way that your skin does naturally. You can only repair it temporarily by conditioning it. So that's why we are constantly conditioning our hair, because we're only maintaining our hair, okay? So you will use your conditioners and deep conditioners and even protein treatments or conditioners that contain protein, not necessarily hardcore protein treatments, but conditioners that contain proteins that will condition your hair and fill in those spaces where there are chips and where there are holes so that your hair feels whole. It may not be, to the same extent 100% well, but it will have the appearance and the feel of healthy hair, okay? So that comparison is going to be vitally important, especially since, there's this misperception that you can actually repair hair. No, you can't. Once it's damaged, your hair is constantly going into a degenerative state. So it starts out healthy as can be. But remember, your hair is made up of dead skin cells. So if you don't have healthy skin, you're starting off with already a weaker foundation. So if you want to help to get healthier hair, it starts from the body, because you're going to be producing hair from your body, from your skin. So you want to change your behaviors in order to get healthier hair and in order to maintain your hair if it has sustained some damage. So let's talk about that really quickly. When you experience damage, most times when people come into the salon, I've noticed the damage is around the hairline and oftentimes even the back hairline as well. But most of the time it's up here. These are the weakest portions of your hair, and they're not meant to hold on to like braiding extensions or have a lot of stress put on them. So if you're pulling them back too tight, if you're wearing hair ties, which is often the case, then you may sustain some damage to your hairline, and I see that most often. So what you want to do is you want to minimize or cut down, reduce those the frequency of those things that you were doing that was causing that damage initially. The hair has already been damaged, so the hair that grow in will have a better chance of growing in stronger if you eliminate that behavior or reduce that behavior. So if it means wearing hair ties was causing it, then stop wearing the hair ties or don't wear them as often, or change up the material that you're using as a hair tie. I've shared with many people the only material that I put on my hair for any extended period of time is a silk scarf, and not a faint silk scarf. Like this is a silk blouse. This is kind of faint, right? I like a nice sturdy one. I've shown you all my scarf, and I'm trying not to edit this video, so I'll just make sure, again, I'll show the scarf at some point. But sturdy material, you probably can't even see that on the video anyway. So I use a nice sturdy silk scarf as my hair wrap when I put my hair up in a puff, because it's not going to put too much friction and it's not going to pull on my hair. It's going to glide over my hair, and I want to eliminate or reduce any level of friction, tension, or stress on the hair, because that weakens the hair over time. And everything that we do to our hair is cumulative, so we're not going to experience the consequences of it immediately, but if we do these things repeatedly, eventually we will see the negative consequences of it. So you want to eliminate whatever it was that was causing your hair to get weaker or to break. You also, if you experience heat damage, then you want to reduce the amount of heat styling that you do, or cut it out completely and give your hair a chance to, to grow in healthy, and those hairs that have been damaged to not get further damage. Because once your cuticle layer is damaged, then it exposes your cortex layer, and there's no win for that. If you expose too much of the cortex layer, that inner layer of your hair, then your hair will eventually break off. So as long as you have some cuticle layer covering the cortex layer, you stand a chance. But if you continue to heat style on it and your cuticle layer gets chipped away, gets burned away, then you don't have any more to work with to protect that hair, and it will break off. You want to also minimize tension, like I said before, minimize pressure to the areas where you're experiencing, damage or breakage. You can even sustain damage from too much sun exposure. So if you're a beach goer and you're experiencing, damage to your hair from the sun, which you very well can, you want to put a hat on, cover your hair, put a scarf on or something to limit the amount of sun exposure. If you are swimming in chlorine water as well, you want to prepare your hair before you get into chlorine water, and then also adapt the process for cleansing your hair after you've been exposed to the chlorine. And I will gladly upload or share a link to another YouTuber by the name of MsChicoro, who provided a wonderful video that gives you excellent steps to follow if you are going to be getting into chlorine water on a regular basis. So I will share that in the information box below. Okay, and then let's see. You want to increase the frequency of cleansing and conditioning. And so you're constantly going to be conditioning your hair to keep it in good condition, but it should be preceded by cleansing. So don't forego cleansing and just go to conditioning, because you're not going to receive the full benefits of conditioning if you're not removing the film buildup on your hair. So cleanse your hair first with a clarifying shampoo, and then follow, if you want to, with a moisturizing shampoo or a cleansing conditioner. That's fine, as long as you start with a shampoo, preferably one that contains sulfates. So cleanse your hair first, and then you condition your hair. And we know that you can do a rinse out conditioner followed by a deep conditioner. And then finally, for your styling, use a leave-in conditioner or a moisturizer, so that you're constantly having some level of conditioning on your hair for temporary repair or temporary conditioning of the hair, because you're going to have to do it again in the next week or so. Rest. Your body literally rejuvenates itself with adequate amounts of rest. So you want to allow yourself a good amount of time to rest. And your body will experience some level of restoration. And if your body is being restored, the dead skin cells that become your hair will be a stronger foundation. So get some rest. Increase your water intake. You've heard this before. Increase your water intake, because that's going to help the flow of blood that is going to nourish your hair follicles, which stimulates growth. Now, your growth rate is already predetermined by your genetics, and so the only thing is that you would experience an impedance or a hindrance in your hair growth if you have poor health, if you have an imbalance of your hormones, if you are taking medication for an illness. Those things will impede your normal growth cycle. So if you were to incorporate, better eating habits and exercising to help nourish the blood flow, which is going to nourish your hair follicles, then you will sustain better, hair growth, in that it won't be interrupted. Okay? It's not going to make your hair grow faster, but based on your genetics, if you are experiencing a slowdown due to poor health, by improving your health, you will get back to the level that you were meant to have genetically. You want to also, increase your vegetable intake. It makes for stronger hair as well. Make sure you have protein in your diet. And make sure you exercise, because again, that will help with oxygen flow, oxygenated blood flow again to your hair follicles, for nourishing those follicles and stimulating your hair growth. Other behaviors you want to be mindful of, like especially when your hair gets to a certain length, it rests on your shoulders. My hair, this happens all the time, gets caught in my hand in the strap for my pocketbook. So be mindful of that, because oftentimes what happens is women who wear their hair who wear their pocketbook on one particular side will experience more breakage on the hairs where it's making contact with the pocketbook or bag, throw bag or something like that. And if you're taking off and putting on your scarf, oftentimes that friction may cause these hairs to become weaker, and you may experience breakage on the perimeter of your hair. So be mindful of that, and also seat belts and zippers. Anything that's making contact with your hair. So just be mindful of those things, and I think that pretty much covers it. So ladies, for any of you who were on the scope tonight, the Sunday night scope, and that there were other things that we covered in our discussion, you're welcome to share in the comment section below. And what I'll also do is, because I do not have the replay available, I will make it available as a link on my website. So go to embracenaturalbeauty.com. I'm going to be providing that link on my website tonight, as well as uploading this video today. So I hope you all have a great I hope this information, actually, I'll say good night. I hope this information was helpful to you, and I invite you to, ask me further questions related to this topic. If I missed anything, again, like I said, we covered a lot. I spoke a lot in the scope. Unfortunately, it didn't save to my phone, so I wanted to at least give you the major points. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Take care, everyone.